Residents of one of Umuahia's oldest estates say excessive billing has become unbearable. Presenting their grievances to the governor's security advisor, MacDonald Oba, the community's spokesperson, Chukwemeka Nwankwo, called for the immediate provision of prepaid meters.
They said we are on ban A now, that we merited it. We don't want ban A. These are our 3 points. We should be metered. The areas that were accumulated during this excessive billing should be cleared. Finally, they should give us at least a sustainable and a good bill that we can afford, an affordable bill.
The government representative assured the protesters of swift intervention to address the issue.
I assure you that within the shortest possible time, you'll get a response from government.
Thank you.
It will be looked at dispassionately, and based on the merits of it, it will be attended to.
Residents also allege that since their migration to Band A, their monthly electricity bills have surged dramatically, sometimes rivaling house rents.
We've talked about it. We said, why are they giving us this kind of thing? For example, you see somebody who doesn't have much, who's living in a self-contained or two-bedroom apartment. He has to pay 60,000 naira, 70,000 naira as his rent, as his bill, electricity bill. When his rent is barely 25,000 naira in a month, 20,000 naira in a month. My own house rent is 400,000 naira in a year. Now take that and compare that with a bill of 59,000.
Let me just say, last year we were paying like 10,000 naira per month. All of a sudden, they increase it to 60,000, 70,000. And some of these residents are poor widows, retirees. So that estate is for middle-class people. So they can't, some of them, their salaries are not even up to 70,000. So we can't afford it.
I received 67. The bill is difficult for me to pay.
They insist that only the introduction of prepaid metering will curb what they describe as inflated and unsustainable charges. In Abia, for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
Staying with the electricity matter, while the national grid has collapsed 3 times recently, plunging millions into darkness, parts of Abia State didn't see a flicker because they've pulled away from the national grid. These communities enjoy uninterrupted power while the rest of the world, or the country rather, struggles. This isn't just a lucky break, it's a clear win for decentralizing the electricity market and proves that local independent power works. So what's the holdup for other states? The 2023 Electricity Act finally gives the governors the power to do this, but many are still dragging their feet. Between the massive cost of infrastructure and the need for serious private investors, most states are stuck in the planning phase. Abia has shown it's possible. Well, I'm being joined by Idowu Oyebanjo, power analyst and managing director at IDFON Power. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Oyebanjo.
Thanks for having me.
So that you heard the analysis. I mean, he joins us from Lagos. Oyebanjo, you heard the analysis that we gave, how while the national grid is collapsing back and forth, a state like Abia, parts of Abia State, never saw a blink. Indeed, some of the residents I've had conversations with will tell you that they actually beg for the light to go off so that their refrigerators could thaw. But why do you think this is a major problem for states to pick up on? It's a huge opportunity.
Yes, indeed, it's a big opportunity. This is what the Electricity Act envisions for Nigerians. And if any state is not enjoying what part of Abia State enjoyed recently, they have to take their focus to their state governments, because by signing the Electricity Act in 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu already gave this opportunity for state governments to establish their own generation, transmission, and distribution system to supply electricity to people in their state. Now, why do we have the situation where some parts of Abia State enjoyed uninterrupted power supply during these last 3 events of grid collapses? It is because they have a professor-backed energy in investing over $800 million in their state. Over $800 million. So we need a lot of backed energy, Nigerians. Recently, you must have listened to Dangote, Dangote said he will be going into power generation. Yes, instead of buying private jets, all these affluent people who can afford it should invest in power generation. And the state government should have been knocking on the doors of people like Dangote, as well as Boa and others who have the finance to go into power systems. So the first thing is you have investments in the power system. But to answer your question in a technical form, what happened over there was the region Abia Power Limited served electricity. The region actually was on island, what we call an islanding. So to be on island means you isolate yourself from the national grid, especially during a time of grid collapse like that. You will not feel it because you are operating as an island. You are isolated from the national grid. So you imagine all the 36 states and FCT, they have areas in their domain where they are operating on islands. They will never know lack of electricity. They will have uninterrupted power supply as long as their systems are okay. They will enjoy what people in Abia State enjoyed during that period. And guess what? Many industries have started moving to Abia State because of this. That's what will happen for state governments who decided to love their people so much and create this electricity market.
Okay, but you see, now we had that report of residents of Umuahia complaining about estimated billing, and then the fact that the bill is so high, and yet they're not seeing enough power as they may want to see. But then we also know, we've heard Nigerians talk about the fact that in some parts of the country where we don't have the cost of paying for electricity is too high. If the state governments, you say that the governments that are not doing this, what Abia State has done, obviously don't love their people enough. Is there a question of lack of cash or a deeper political reason?
Well, it's a bit of both, but the main thing is that by not dictating or mandating that states of the federation shall, after 12 months, establish their state electricity regulatory commission in the Electricity Act 2023 as amended, that created this opportunity for some states not to have jumped into the bandwagon and to establish their state electricity. So that's number one. But of course, like you mentioned, power system investments are financially intensive. To invest in power generation, transmission, distribution system, and as I love to put it, in gas to power systems, you need significant investment. Now, most states don't have this kind of investment. So there's a lacuna in the area of policy or intervention. You have to decide how will these states get funding. So that's a very critical part of the reasons why people some states are lacking. Of course, I must mention that the best thing for News Central to do and other media outlets like yourselves is to go out there to the state governments that have accepted regulatory authority from Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the federal regulator, and go and knock at their doors and say, what are you doing? Where is your State Electricity Regulatory Commission located? Who are the people working there? Do they have the facilities? That's what media organizations should be doing as part of our advocacy for ensuring Nigeria gets uninterrupted power supply in our lifetime.
Yeah,
but having said that,
Mr. Oyebanjo, who's going to be funding
you have
that?
to realize that.
Who would fund that? Would you fund it?
Yeah, because this is a very critical aspect of economic development and human capacity development. It's something that can be done. But like I was saying, your question leads directly to another aspect why some states are foot dragging. Human capacity. There's a shortage of skills required to run an electricity market in Nigeria. Also, there is regulatory capture. There is uncertainty in the regulatory regime. If you recall, in the last few months, there was an intention, to change the position of the Electricity Act. Some people went to the National Assembly and they almost got away with amending that act in such a way that the over concentration of power will go back to the federal level against the principle of decentralization. So such a confusion will lead a state governor to say, hang on a minute, I have to wait and see exactly where this stands. So if you are running a decentralized system, you must not allow regulatory uncertainty. You must be clear about the roles and responsibilities of federal agencies and state agencies, and you must not give them a kind of doubt. Like in the case of Enugu, they were told they cannot set the tariff within their state. That's an aberration in a decentralized market. So all those things will signal bad brood into the minds of some state governments, and then
we really have to go. So let me just quickly answer. We have to go. Mr. Oyebanjo, we really have to go, but you need to quickly answer this in like 30 seconds. While some people are concerned about a fragmented national grid, if you had an opportunity to advise a governor today on how to flip on that switch for state-led power, what would you say to the person in 30 seconds?
Partner with the right kind of investors. Make sure meritocracy is what you use in defining your electricity market, and make sure you partner with the right people. Unlike the privatization of 2013, where we had people who prioritized economic advantage over technical capacity as well as sustainability of the market, you must not repeat that in any state. You must make sure you allow merit to take place, as well as ensure that you partner with the right kind of investor who understand power business.
Thank you so much, Mr. Idowu Oyebanjo is a power analyst and the managing director of IDFON. Thank you for coming in this evening.